Chapter 9. Packing Up. As it turned out, the apples were only slightly concerned at Applejack being missing. There was likely nothing that could have snuck Applejack out of the farmhouse without them knowing, and figured she had left on her own. After some stifled giggles, and not so stifled in Apple Bloom's case, Applejack told them of Twilight's intentions. They all nodded, figuring it was for the best for her. It was after the harvest, and the trees didn't need the constant care anymore. Still, there were chores to do, and Applejack found herself outside mending a fence. Every once in a while, she would pause and look at her wedding band. "Why won't you come off?" she muttered to herself. "Because I love you, AJ. Oh, for crying out loud. Did Twilight's spell do this, or have you always had a smart mouth?" "I don't have a mouth at all." Why won't you come off?" "Because you don't want me off." That caused Applejack to stare at the metallic band, wondering if she was reading the words right. The words disappeared, and new writing emerged. "You want this. Don't deny it." Applejack opened her mouth to protest, but stopped. This was ridiculous. She was arguing with a hunk of metal. It wasn't real. "Whatever helps you sleep at night." Applejack quickly slammed her hoof onto the ground and returned to her work, trying not to imagine what the metal band was thinking, if it could think at all. As she mended the fence, wondering what to do next, a shadow loomed over her for a split second. Without looking up, Applejack knew who it was. "Hey, Dash," she muttered, not taking her eyes off her work.
"Hey, lover girl,"
she teased, but only half-heartedly.
"What you doing?"
"Some last-minute chores before I leave," she said, keeping her tone as flat as she could.
"Figures."
Then Rainbow Dash went into a tone that Applejack recognized all too well, one that said she was trying to be serious.
"Listen, Twilight wanted me to talk to you."
"There ain't nothing to talk about," she said too quickly.
"Yes, there is. I know that look, AJ. It's the I'm about to be a stubborn idiot look. Now spill, what's wrong?"
"No," she began, but stopped. She knew it was an exercise in futility. If Rainbow Dash felt there was something you shouldn't be hiding, she would make life hard until it was spilt, at least to her. It had led to some of the shakiest parts of their friendship, though in the end, getting whatever problem she had out in the open usually did more good than harm, and Rainbow Dash always kept secrets when they were needed. I'm in love." There was silence.
"That's it?"
Rainbow Dash declared, annoyed.
"That's what all the drama is about? So when you get your marriage canceled, just go talk to her."
"I'm in love with Twilight." Rainbow Dash gaped. For half a minute, she just stared at her old friend.
Wow. So, is she straight?" "What?" "I mean, is that why you're depressed? She only likes stallions?"
"What? No, she's bi, but..."
"Is she in love with somebody else?"
"No."
"So what's the problem?"
Now Applejack was gaping.
"What?"
Rainbow Dash shrugged, and Applejack's eyes widened to see she was genuinely surprised.
"Well, you two are married already. Just tell her how you feel and you'll get a hot wife without all the dating stuff."
"It ain't that simple."
"What, you think she wouldn't like you? She married you. Drunk, yes, but she still did."
"It ain't about whether she'd want to date me," she sighed. "I know she might be willing to give it a shot, but it wouldn't work out."
"AJ, that's what dating is for."
Rainbow Dash spoke slowly and carefully, as if speaking to a young foal.
"To see if a relationship between ponies can work out."
"Dash, think. I know you ain't for using your head, but think." Applejack snapped so hard that Rainbow Dash actually jumped at the anger in her friend's voice. Seeing the shock, the cow pony softened. "Celestia's been training Twi for years now. She's got big plans for that filly. Whatever they are, I can't ask her to give that up just to come live with me on some dusty old farm." By the time Applejack's argument was half over, Rainbow Dash had a rebuttal in mind, but she forgot it when she heard the last sentence, purely out of shock.
"Dusty," she stammered.
"Applejack, what happened to you? I've never heard you talk about Sweet Apple Acres like that." Applejack bit her lip, and it was clear to the Pegasus that something was said that was not meant to be said. "Well, I don't know. I guess. Showing rare patience, Rainbow Dash folded her forelegs and waited. I guess being around everything in Canterlot made me feel, I don't know. You know when I was at the reception, a few stallions asked me to dance?
And they got mad when you told them you weren't into that?
No, I didn't even get that far. The moment they heard my accent, they started laughing.
What?
The Pegasus demanded.
Why didn't you tell me? I would have popped 'em good.
That's exactly why I didn't tell you. We already had enough problems, and I didn't want to shame Twi again after... She trailed off. Even after all this time, the wedding was a sore spot for them. Even the Changeling, back when we thought she was Cadence, she took one look at me and started laughing.
So? She's a jerk.
I know, I just... She sighed. Half the time, I can't even understand what the girl is saying whenever she starts talking about magic and science, but I love it when she does. Her eyes light up, her smile splits her face. It's so cute.
AJ, drop the sappy stuff and get to the point.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Well, it's just... Whenever she does that, I like it, but it just reminds me how out of my league she is.
Oh, that's ridiculous,
Rainbow Dash said, sounding annoyed.
I hate seeing you like this. You used to not care what those snobs think, and it's not like Twilight's like that anyhow. Who's to say she wouldn't give all that up for you?
I can't ask her to.
Why?
Why? It just... I can't. I just can't.
Why? What would she be missing? Even when she lived in Canterlot, she hated big fancy parties, lived in a library, and didn't get involved in politics. What would you possibly be taking from her?
Well, look, Celestia has plans for her, and you know it. It has to be important. It ain't right to make her stay behind with me when other ponies may need her. Rainbow Dash rolled her eyes but stayed silent for a moment. But only a moment.
Why do you like her?
Applejack blinked. Huh?
You're not shallow enough to just like her 'cause she's hot, though she is. Not as good looking as Fluttershy, but not too shabby.
Then, with a mischievous grin, she added,
She has a flank you'd want to wake up next to.
Applejack went red from both anger and embarrassment. Rainbow Dash held in her laugh, then continued.
So, why do you like her?
'Cause she's so... wonderful. She sighed, a lovesick smile splitting her face. When she led us to the elements, I knew I wanted her as a friend. When she called me out for being stubborn that one Applebuck season, I knew I wanted her as family. She's always running round, trying to learn more to be the best. She wants every pony to be happy. She gulped. I don't want to lose her. There was silence.
So what's stopping you? If you don't want to keep her here, follow her to Canterlot.
Don't you think I thought of that? The elite would eat me alive.
Please.
Rainbow Dash waved her off.
The elite are small potatoes compared to Twilight, and you know it. They couldn't do anything but snark at you, and I doubt they'd even do that to your face.
There'd also be no farming, no dancing, no nothing. I'd be going to those dumb parties forever.
So you don't think Twilight's worth all that?
She looked at Rainbow Dash, sputtering at the statement. What? But it ain't like that.
Then what's it like?
Applejack opened her mouth to protest, but found nothing to say for a moment. You don't have to put it like that.
How else would I put it?
Silence. I don't know. The tremble in her voice kept Rainbow Dash from pressing the matter any further.
Look, I won't tell Twilight what you told me, but think about it. Twilight's a catch. I don't want you regretting this.
And she took off. Applejack watched her go. Then she sighed and looked at the ring again. I knew you did. Maybe you should stop fighting it. She returned to her work, but her brain was now buzzing with thoughts. Pinkie always wondered why so many of her friends skipped the entertainment section of the newspaper. Rarity kept up with gossip, and Rainbow Dash had to know if Spitfire and Soren were dating, but Twilight, Applejack, and Fluttershy all considered such things frivolous, even more so since Gabby Gums. Sighing, she opened the front of the section, reading an article on Fancy Pants caught cheating on Fleur with another mare. Pinkie laughed. Similar articles had sprung up after he was seen dancing with Rarity at the wedding, and his reaction was to laugh and tell his wife that he was now 6 scandals ahead of her, with the lovely unicorn vowing to catch up. The next was an article accusing Spitfire of getting tail extensions, which Rainbow Dash would laugh at, saying that would only hinder her performance. The next article was announcing that Hoity Toity was the current celebrity they were accusing of being gay. She flipped the page and almost immediately a picture caught her eye. Rarity, slightly tipsy, with Prince Blueblood, smiling happily. She gaped. She read the article. Then she ran out the door in a panic. Twilight just sighed as Rainbow Dash flew away, having reported hearing nothing. She shook her head and went back inside to finish packing, only to find Spike dusting the library. "What are you doing? I told you could take a break from chores." He shrugged. "Well, it's just going to be harder to clean it if I put it off." Twilight sighed. "Spike, I'm worried about you. I think you need to be spending more time outside." "I'm fine, really." "No. Remember the last time I let you off for a few days? You ended up at Sweet Apple Acres working for Applejack. You need to start spending more time away from work." "Well, there's really nothing I want to do." "And that's the problem," she said, pulling the broom away from him. Spike jumped in a panic and tried to stop it, but Twilight lightly pressed a hoof to his chest, stopping him. "Spike, I'm glad you have such a good work ethic, but it's not right to have you work so much." "But—" He started to protest again, but stopped. Not because of words this time, but because of her expression. It was one of deep thought when he was thinking of something important. "I think leaving you at the library is a mistake," she said. "I think maybe spending some time with the apples would be better for you." Spike just shrugged. "I'm not very good at farm work, but—" "No," she said firmly. "I'm forbidding you from working, and I'm going to make sure Big Mac and Granny Smith don't let you. You are going to spend time with Apple Bloom and her friends." Spike's eyes widened, his irises shrinking to the size of pencil points. "What? Twilight, I don't think I'll survive. You've seen those 3. It's a miracle Ponyville is still in one piece." "Oh, they're not that bad." Twilight waved her hoof. "They helped you take care of our pets, didn't they?" Spike rolled his eyes. "Yeah, help," he said bitterly. She kissed his cheek. "I was hoping you'd play with more ponies your age when we moved here. Please? For me?" Spike felt his heart lurch. Twilight always had a way of getting him to behave, even when his seemingly limitless loyalty was exhausted, and he knew now was one of those times. He owed Twilight a great deal, and while Twilight tried to tell him he should not feel like he had to pay back things given out of love, she was not above using that sense to lightly guilt him into doing what she thought was best. "Oh, all right," he said. "Thanks, Spike," she said, kissing his forehead. He gave the standard ew, but no matter how many times he declared that, Twilight knew he enjoyed such signs of affection. "I'll go arrange things with the Apple family. Pack up, and I'd better not see any cleaning supplies." He mumbled, but went upstairs to pack. Rarity wrote her notes with a groan. She had been completely self-taught since her primary education, and she squirmed in her seat, unable to concentrate as well as her classmate. She was surprised that Blueblood was taking the class with her. When she pressed about it, he simply said that it never hurt to have a refresher, and this was one mission he wanted to err on the side of caution. Despite her difficulty, she still listened to the instructor note the small tells a changeling had: green magic, aversion to eating, and a desire to subtly control ponies. Every word sent a dagger through Rarity's heart. They were all signs she should have seen before the wedding. After an hour, the class ended, and Rarity could not have been out of the classroom fast enough. She was even willing to enter Blueblood's office for the mid-morning meeting. "We made the gossip columns," Blueblood said, showing the paper. Rarity suppressed a groan. She could only imagine her homecoming. Pinkie and Rainbow Dash would see, and they'd tell every pony. The entire town would be talking about it, and her shop would be overrun with gossiping mares demanding to know how it went. Then she brightened. Gossiping mares who would likely pay. "You know, I suppose that really isn't that bad," she mused happily. "Even if I'm going to be associated with you." "Oh, that hurts," he said, though he did not sound offended. One thing, though. While Twilight never was one for gossip, she'll likely hear the story from Pinkie before too long. How are we to avoid her when she comes to Canterlot? She'll want to know what's going on. I've arranged for our date tonight to coincide with their arrival. And you honestly think that will stop her? Whenever she thinks something is wrong, she doesn't stop until it's solved, and she knows I don't like you. Auntie will assure her nothing's wrong. Blueblood dismissed with a wave of his hoof, and that settled that. The only thing that could ever assure Twilight for sure was Celestia, and they knew it. The princess was almost like a mother to her. Rarity blinked. Have you ever met Twilight's parents? Blueblood was confused. The question seemed to come out of nowhere. No, I never saw them growing up, and I was on a diplomatic visit when Cadence married her brother. Why? It's just, Twilight's been living in Ponyville for 2 years, and they've never come to visit, and I hardly saw them at the wedding. Well, honestly, I don't think they ever came and visited her at the palace, he said. Twilight visited them, mostly on holidays. Hearths warming, Mother and Father's Day, things like that, but... Well, maybe they were busy. I thought so too, Blueblood said, a hint of uncertainty in his voice. But the weird thing was that her brother visited all the time, once a week when he could spare it. It was only after he started getting sent overseas that he stopped visiting. There was an awkward silence. Well, what do you think of that? I think it's not any pony's business, he said simply. Twilight's an upright mare, so it doesn't seem to be a problem. I suppose, Rarity sighed, though her natural gossip wanted to take over. You should be concentrating on the mission. Go on, start the dresses, and... He paused, then sighed. I suppose I'll tell the chefs to make you a better lunch than yesterday. Big Mac hammered a loose board in the barn's side. Nodding at his work, he turned and began walking the length. Just as he came to a rain barrel, Pinkie popped out. Hey, Big Mac! Ugh! The normally stoic stallion yelped, ducking. Miss Pinkie? Look at this! She chirped, showing the gossip section of the paper. Miss Rarity? He said, genuinely surprised. She's dating a prince? Do you know what that means? She said, lowering the paper and staring him in the eyes. No. We have to pair the spares. What? I'm the last member of the main 6 without a cult friend. The what? The main 6. Me, AJ, Dashy, Rarity, Fluttershy, and Twilight. And since Applebloom is in love with Spike... Wait, what? Big Mac said, his big brother instinct taking over. She is? Well, probably. I think they'd be cute together, but that's not important. What matters is that we have to date now. Big Mac felt his brain crack in two. What? If we date, there'll be no romantic loose ends. We have to do it. Miss Pinkie, I don't think... Please? Miss Pinkie? Wait, she thought. Of course, it's too early. Huh? We need to wait until Applejack and Twilight are together. Then we start dating. Miss Pinkie, have you been spending time with Berry Punch lately? Ooh, she might have some good wine for our first date. I'll go check. Without another word, Pinkie bounced off, leaving a confused Big Mac behind. To be continued.